Welcome back to the Dragon Den, my loyal Dragonites. King of Dragons 5000 is back with another action figure review. Today we'll be taking a look at the Metacom Toys Mafex Boba Fett recovered armored version. And so here we have Boba Fett posing out of the packaging, and does he look very impressive. Before we have a look at his details, let's run through his accessories. Boba Fett will come with two head sculpts, one helmeted and unhelmeted, as well as various hands for style posing and holding his weapons. Also included is his EE3 carbine rifle, his blaster, his jetpack, thrust effects for his jetpack, a rocket launcher for his jetpack, a flamethrower effect piece, a dart launching effect piece for his knee, and his ripcord. Other than that, Boba Fett doesn't come with any other accessories, so with that out of the way, let's have a closer look at the recovered armored Boba Fett. So here we have a closer look at the recovered armored Boba Fett, and Mafex has done a great job with this figure. Boba Fett is sporting the look that he had in the Mandalorian Season 2, and it looks very good here. Taking a look at his helmet, Boba Fett is sporting this deep jungle green helmet, and it looks very good. His T-visor is outlined in this darker red, and it does a really nice job contrasting the deep green. And the yellow tally marks on the side of his helmet look very impressive, with a black tally mark also included. And of course, Boba Fett is sporting his rangefinder, which is articulated if you want to have it pointing down. As far as the rest of his outfit goes, Mafex has done a really good job making it look like we saw in Season 2 of The Mandalorian. That really rich deep green looks very good here on his armor, and you can still see some of the dings that were included in his old armor set. The insignia is nicely painted on his right breastplate, and you can see they did a really good job weathering his armor. And Boba Fett is wearing his jetpack, which looks very good, and I love the details Mafex put into it. You can actually see the refurbishments made by Boba Fett, and it looks very good here. His arms are also nicely detailed, with the pauldrons coming down his shoulders. On the left pauldron we do have the mythosaur, which looks really good, and the black undersuit looks really nice here as well. The left vambrace is very impressive, both in terms of sculpt and detail, and I really love the dart launcher on it. His right arm has a yellow pauldron as well, and it does have some added detail with a ding in the middle. We do have some tubes running from his shoulder down to his vambrace, which looks very good. And the right vambrace also has some impressive detail, and I love the coloration here on it. Boba Fett is wearing a multi-layered belt, which has some surprising detail. You can see a layer of rope underneath everything, and it is nicely sculpted, and then we do have this really nice gold buckle. The pouches on either side of the buckle look really good and are sculpted wonderfully. And on his right hip he does have a holster which can store his blaster. As far as his pants go, Boba Fett is wearing these really baggy pants which are sculpted really nicely. The sculpted folds and wrinkles look really natural here, and I especially love the added detail with the actual fabric sash. It is frayed on either side, which looks really good and adds to the worn look for Boba Fett. And you can see his knee pads on both of his knees looking really good here, also in yellow paint. His dark coverings over his boots look really good, and we do have these off-green shoes that he's wearing. The sculpt work in his shoes is nicely detailed, and you can see some impressive line work in his shoes. Mafex has done a really good job detailing and painting Boba Fett, giving him the really nice recovered armor look that we saw in The Mandalorian. So with his details out of the way, let's compare Boba Fett to our usual suspects. Here we have Boba Fett posed next to a Marvel Legends Cyclops and DC Multiverse Superman, Mattel's WWE Elite Series and Mezco's 1/12 Collective Popeye the Sailor Man, the Lightning Collection White Ranger, and the Star Wars Black Series Mandalorian. And finally we have the Mafex recovered armored Boba Fett posed next to the Black Series Boba Fett and the SH Figure Arts Boba Fett. So Boba Fett will scale nicely to the rest of your 1/12 collection, and he actually surprisingly scales well with Black Series. With the comparisons out of the way, let's have a look at Boba Fett's articulation. Boba Fett does have a double ball joint in the head and a ball joint in the neck, ball jointed butterfly joints, and ball socketed shoulders. Arms go out to the side and would do a full 360. Swivel at his bicep and double hinged elbows. Ball hinges in his wrists. Boba Fett has a double ball joint in his upper torso and a ball joint in his lower torso. Ball hinge hips kick forward, go back, out to the side, and have a slight thigh swivel. Boba Fett has a single bend in his knees. He has a ball hinge in his ankle, and finally a toe hinge. So Boba Fett has some decent articulation, and it does work perfectly for the character, although some of it will be hindered just by his design. So with everything said and done about the Mafex recovered armored Boba Fett, let's get him posed for my final thoughts. And so here we have Boba Fett posed for my final thoughts, and overall Mafex has done a really good job here with the re-armored Boba Fett. So because it is the Season 2 of Mandalorian Boba Fett, he will be sporting the dad bod, which I think Mafex has captured that perfectly here. I think the green is probably the best part of his armor set because it looks really good here. Despite being a darker green, it still has a lively feel to it, and it does bring out a lot of the character here on Boba Fett. As far as the accessories go here on Boba Fett, I'm really glad they included his carbine rifle as well as his blaster, giving him some added effect piece such as thrusters for his jetpack, a flamethrower, and the dart launcher on his knee pad. It's a really good look here for Boba Fett. I think out of all the Mandalorian Season 2 Boba Fetts, this is probably my favorite version, and I think it represents what we saw on screen perfectly. So Boba Fett will have some slightly hindered articulation, especially in his arm, seeing as how they designed his shoulder pads being attached to his shoulder rather than his arm. And because of the design of his armor, his butterfly joints don't come out as far as I would like them, but you can still get him in some pretty decent poses. If you're a fan of this particular look of Boba Fett, I really recommend you pick it up because it's probably the best version of this Boba Fett that we've ever gotten. At the time I'm making this video, Boba Fett is starting to ship from Hobbylink Japan, so if you did pre-order him, expect him at your door relatively soon. And you can still pre-order Boba Fett on sites like Big Bad Toy Store so that you can pre-order your very own version of the Mandalorian Boba Fett. So with that being said, don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel, and check out the rest of my Mafex videos. If you're in a position to help out the Dragon Den, check out my Patreon where I have some exclusive content and early access videos. Check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, videos, recent pickups, latest prints, and as always, ring that bell so you never miss another video. And until next time, my fellow Dragonites coming from the Dragon Den, I'm King of Dragons 5000 reminding you to redesign, rebuild, and reclaim. I'll see you next time.